Ryan Loco for HeavyMMA.com with the most interviewed man in the universe is what it seems like. UFC 121 is just days away, and no one's more excited than the man to my right, Dana White. Dana, how's it going today?
Awesome. How are you?
No complaints, man. It's really cool, actually, to have a press conference here in the Walt Disney Hall. It's pretty unique.
It's very cool.
So what can you say, first off, about the UFC coming back here to Orange County? You know, for many years, Orange County was the hub of mixed martial arts, you know, with Tito and John Lewis and Rampage and all those guys. You know, do you feel the electricity when you come back to a town like this?
Yeah, I think it still is the hub, man. Southern California is, and especially Orange County, there's so many fighters from there. You know, Tiki Goshen is opening a new gym this weekend down in Huntington Beach. I mean, things are still popping and happening here. We haven't been back in a long time, and this thing sold out on Saturday night, and I'm excited. It's going to be rocking.
Now, I was at the card with Tito against Forrest, one, in UFC in Anaheim, and it was weird to see a guy like Tito, who was from Huntington Beach, be booed like he was, and it seems like we're going to hear that again, and it's in Tito's backyard. Is that surprising to you at all, or is that kind of what Tito's personality kind of lends itself to?
No doubt about it. That's Tito's persona. There was a time when Tito got nothing but cheers, it's definitely Tito's persona.
So speaking of that fight with Tito and Matt Hamill, I mean, basically this whole card, there's so many intriguing matchups. And with Tito and Hamill, we see teacher versus a student. And we're seeing a fight maybe to see if Tito is still relevant here in the MMA game. What are your thoughts on that?
Matt Hamill was on his team on The Ultimate Fighter. And, Matt Hamill's grown a lot as a fighter. His last couple of fights were great. And Tito, is looking for a win. He hasn't won in 4 years. So it's a big night for Tito on Saturday. I think if Tito can go in there and beat Matt Hamill, it's a great statement. That Tito is still going to hang around in the 205-pound division.
And just so we're clear, we heard it here. Tito said he's 100%. There are no injuries. Right. So later, if we hear anything Saturday night, you're my witness, right?
No, Tito said it. Tito said he's 100% healthy, and as far as I know, he is 100% healthy.
Now, touching on Jake Shields and Martin Kampmann, there's talks of Jake Shields getting a title shot if he defeats Martin Kampmann, and some people seem to be up in arms about that. But really, this is not a guy making his MMA debut. This is a guy that's been fighting for years, and you look at his resume and what he's done, it's pretty incredible.
You're always going to have people that are going to, people are chirping about Vitor Belfort getting a title shot against Anderson Silva. I mean, guy's been a former heavyweight champion, former light heavyweight champion, has been on a win streak. People are always going to do that, but I can tell you this, Jake Shields should be able to come in today and get a fight with George St. Pierre. He just beat Dan Henderson at 185 pounds. Now he's taking this fight at 170. And he's not taking an easy fight. Martin Kampmann stylistically is a tough fight for him, man. This is going to be a good one.
And, the thing with Jake, too, is a lot of people talked about there was a courting of Jake Shields is what it seemed like. We saw Jake at a UFC event before he signed. Do you see it as a courting of Jake Shields, or are you out to get Jake Shields, or is this pretty much standard? You're out to get the best athletes, doesn't matter who it is.
I don't think I need to do much courting, you know what I mean? This is where, if you want to prove yourself as the best in the world, you have to fight here. This is where all the best in the world are. And all the best in the world are fighting each other 3 times a year. So, yeah, there's not much courting. Obviously, Jake Shields is here because we wanted him here, but he's here because he wanted to be here, too.
And now, obviously, the main event, the one everyone's talking about, Brock Lesnar, Cain Velasquez, it's taken a turn of 2 heavyweights into now a Mexican facing an American. Do you see it that way? I mean, did you book this going, oh, great, we have a Mexican guy we can hype up, or is it this is the best in the heavyweight division, and that's why we have to present it like that?
There's no doubt that these guys are the 2 best. But when you go in, you tell the story of a fight. I mean, you hear Brock sitting here talking about how proud he is to be from Minnesota, and up in Minnesota we do this, in Minnesota we do that. Cain's Mexican. I mean, I saw stuff where people were saying stuff like, these guys are playing the race card for this thing. Well, the guy's Mexican. You know what I mean? Not only is he Mexican, he's incredibly proud to be Mexican. Do you think he just got that tattoo on his chest like 2 weeks ago? I went to Cain and said, hey, we're going to give you the Brock Lesnar fight. And, so he went out and got a Brown Pride tattoo on his chest. The guy's incredibly proud to be Mexican. He's proud of his parents and how they came over from. That's the story. We didn't go out and make this stuff up. We didn't teach his father how to speak Spanish, and it's stupid when people say that.
I mean, the same could be said if he was from any country, if he was Canadian, if he was even in our own states, if he was Hawaiian, doesn't matter.
We tell the story when Brazilians come over. They're from Brazil. This is their background. This is it's no different than any fight. So I don't get the whole we're trying to play the race card and all this stuff. The guy is Mexican. His father came over the border in the 70s to give his family a better life. That's their story.
Now, it seems that fight fans in general, I'm not saying MMA fans, boxing fans, just people that enjoy watching a fight, we love the heavyweights. And, boxing has been lacking it for so long. Are you excited to see two fantastic heavyweights go at it as the rest of the world is? Because I know that there's not a bigger fan of the sport than you.
Yeah, that's what, when people ask me about this fight, and, I don't ever give predictions on fights, but my honest to God, true prediction on this fight is this is going to be a sick fight on Saturday night. Brock Lesnar, I mean, everybody knows this. What this guy has accomplished in such a short amount of time, the people he's beat, the way he's beat them, and then you take a guy like Cain Velasquez, whom these guys don't do nicknames, but I call him the Terminator, man. This guy absolutely, positively will not stop until he finishes you. And he's great on his feet. He's got great wrestling, great submission defense, great submissions. I mean, he's as well-rounded a guy as you could possibly get. This is a fun heavyweight fight.
And finally, I know you've been asked 5 billion questions, so 5 billion and one. Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez, they're not necessarily the most outgoing guys. They're very private as far as the media and everything. So were you pleasantly surprised to see how the prime time turned out and to see how open they've both been, both here at the press conference as well as with the filming? Yeah,
well, it's one of those things. I don't think that, I think what makes the prime time so great is that these guys don't like this. They're not into it, and they don't want the cameras there. So the fans get to see a different perspective and something they've never seen before from these guys. That's what I love about primetime. The other thing about primetime is the show that you will see tonight happened yesterday and the day before. It's so real time, it's unbelievable. So not only do you get to see all this stuff and see sides of these guys that you would never see, this shit happened yesterday. You know what I mean?
So is that why we see primetime so spaced out? Because they are such a large process. I mean, to be filming the day of and then edit and then have it ready for TV, that's incredible.
I'm not kidding you. This episode that's going to air tonight, I don't know what time it is right now, but if it's not done yet, it just got done. It just got finished. They will physically run the tape to Spike to run this thing. That's how real time it is.
Now, Dana, I know, unfortunately, you'll have to DVR that because you're going to be in Boston watching the Celtics take on the Heat, and I'm not a Boston fan. However,
I'm going to watch it tonight. I'll see it tonight because I have it on. I watch it on the computer, but we download it and I'll watch it, so I will see it.
Well, I just want to say I'm throwing my support your way because there's nothing more I want to see than LeBron never get a ring.
Really?
So keep on doing it, boss.
What, are you from Cleveland?
No. I'm just I'm a Kobe Bryant fan, and I just nothing against what LeBron did. I'm all for whatever betters you and making you a champion. You can't ever fault a guy for that.
Right.
I just think the whole process of the hour-long special, it's kind of silly, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think the way that this whole thing worked out and as hyped up as this all was, and the way that everything went down, man, these guys better be the best basketball team in the history of basketball teams. I think that. Listen, like you said, every guy has. I have no ill will toward LeBron. I think he's an incredible athlete and everything else. But I'm a Celtics fan, man. I want to see the Celtics take him down. And Shaq is one of my good friends, and now he's got a Celtics jersey on. Big Baby's one of my good friends, and I'm just excited to go there and see them win this game.
Well, there you go. ESPN, watch out. You might have your next two NBA analysts. He's Dana White, president of the UFC. UFC 121 coming to you Saturday night live. Brock Lesnar, Cain Velasquez for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. And for all your UFC 121 coverage, head on over to HeavyMMA.com.